was it's just, this is obviously the first show of the new year, so it's kind of hard to get your mojo. You're still a bit mentally tired from the Christmas, and then the alarm goes off, and you're like, Jesus.
What?
But apologies to Snakewhite, because we didn't really talk the 10 minutes or so of darts that we wanted to laud him on his victory over MVG last night.
No, we didn't. I didn't watch last night, I'll be honest with you, Johnny. That's why I had Phil in here this morning.
But to be fair, we're going to the papers, and he actually makes back page of the Indo, which I thought was quite interesting.
Here, yeah.
Probably because of the colour. If the Indo were black and white, I don't think they would have gone with
that. And the PDC is a big deal. The PDC World Championship is a big deal, you know. He obviously bet Van Gerwen last night, 7-3. A €600,000 purse.
It's all right.
Not bad. It's the first time Peter Wright has won it. He lost to MVG in 2014. He was a serious underdog last night. But I don't think it was ever really in doubt. I think Phil being a little later to the deal or no deal, so you might chat to him there, Tom being as well. So that's the lead in the Indo this morning. There's also Huddersfield vowed to act over McClean racist chants. That's our number in the papers this morning. We'll get into it in a couple of minutes. Mourinho hits out an idiot coach, VAR and the ball boys. So Spurs lose to Southampton. Danny Ings continues his form, scoring again. And Jose Mourinho makes the story all about him. He does what he does the best. And also Rory O'Connor has a piece on Conor Murray's grip on Ireland's number 9 jersey has never been weaker. Yeah, that's an interesting piece by Rory. He's obviously speaking about the fact that his position looks less kind of secure, more vulnerable than Sexton's going into the Six Nations, and a few viable candidates as well, particularly the Ulster. John Cooney.
Cooney as his main rival at the moment.
Luke McGrath, Jamison Gibson Park and Keelan Blade of Connacht are all in the mix as well there. Yeah, so the McClean story.
I admire him, to be fair, because there's a couple of times now in recent games where he's basically brought to the attention of the officials, because that's what he's been sort of advised to do.
He's bearing the brunt of it. There was an issue in the Sheffield Wednesday game last week as well. And the game was stopped. There was an announcement put over to 10-9. I think McClean applauded the announcement, saying asking fans to stop the abuse. Like, it's the same. Like, it's happening year after year with James McClean, and you know, we're not going to come up with the reasons why or the solution to the issue here. Like, but I suppose the club investigating their own fans and potentially banning their fans is a step in the right direction. The announcement happening officially over the tannoy is a good thing. That's not really making that much of a difference, but like,
it's in the back page of the paper.
It's in the back page of all the papers as well.
People are talking about
it, you know, and it's coming up year after year. And James McClean is the figurehead of it. He's getting a lot of the abuse. Like, Michael O'Neill was a Stoke boss yesterday, Northern Ireland manager for a number of years, so he wasn't the only one that those chants would have affected last night.
It's staggering that, you know, he's taken a political stance effectively, and he's been quite honourable about why he's done this, but people can't tolerate that. It is, I think it's kind of good in a way that they're confronting racism of white people as well as racism of black people, because it's not as simple as, you know, what's going on in Italy and all that. And I think in terms of black players in Britain, Britain is nowhere near the worst, and generally there's complete tolerance of whatever your colour is, your skin colour. But the McClean thing it's just festering and it hasn't gone away.
No, it's not gone away. Huddersfield manager Danny Cowley said it last night. There's no place for discrimination of any type. We're in the 21st century in 2020. And Huddersfield are going to do their bit, and they're going to investigate it, but it's going to rear its head again. It's not going to go away. Like, when next November comes around, James McClean and the Poppy is going to be back in the news again. It's not going to stop. James McClean isn't going to back down, and I'm not sure if the fans, you can say, are going to back down from abusing James McClean either until drastic action is taken. Like, is it going to get to the stage they're going to dock Huddersfield points for their fans chanting?
It's not inconceivable. It's not inconceivable. But you said something that's not going to go away. The FAI situation is not going to go away. And well-known Cork administrator Jerry McEnany, he's emerged as the favourite, according to the Echo in Cork, the favourite to replace Donald Conway as the FAI president. That's in an EGM on the 25th of January. That's an intriguing article on the back of the Echo. And obviously the FAI, it's funny because I was just saying this the other day, there have been such progress made on the pitch in terms of Irish players at the moment. Like, it's been a great Christmas. And yesterday, Adam Ida coming on for Norwich. 8 teenage strikers have played in the Premier League this year. 4 of them are Irish.
Amazing.
That's absolutely amazing. Like, because we've had so little coming through, and that was picked up, I think, in the Examiner, that stat. But off the pitch, things are still a little bit ropey.
Yeah, and look, it's going to be that way for a number of months. Things are not going to become rosy in the FAI for a long time, and even if it is I don't know what way it's going to end up. But off the field, you know, Michael Obafemi's goal over Christmas, what a screamer. I know you boys were talking about it on air with Shane Keegan. Adam Ida got a couple of minutes last night, but it looks like he's going to get a chance in the Cup this week for Norwich. We all know about Troy Paradis. Parrott going to get a loan move in the Championship. Like Leeds United, after losing Eddie and Katia, he's gone back to Arsenal. I don't know whether Parrott would go down to Bielsa or something like that. Maybe that's not the move for him, but Leeds are on the lookout for a striker.
The Championship stuff as well. So, like, Jason Knight obviously scoring the couple of goals for Derby.
But Rooney talking him up.
Rooney talking him up ahead of coming there. And I was only saying to you this morning, Malumbi's Millwall, they're sixth.
Yeah,
like the Championships is such. I love it. It's a basket case. The last time I looked, Millwall were just above the relegation zone. And Malumbi, you know, getting rave reviews as well.
I'm a big fan of him as well.
Yeah, they played Luton, beat them comfortably yesterday, and again he had a good performance. I think playing alongside Sean Williams is huge for him. But
Aidan O'Brien in there as well.
Yeah, and just really, really encouraging times. It's interesting in Malumbi because Glenn Whelan is obviously is going to have to leave his club, and he's you know, it probably won't be in regular football by the time the Slovakia game comes around. So Malumbi's case for getting some.
I think Josh Cullen's out injured too. So
yeah.
Jason Knight and Malumbi, if they're making that much of an impact at Championship level, they're going to be looked at, because Mick McCarthy's bread and butter is Championship football as well.
Absolutely.
He knows what players are worth their salt at that grade, at that level.
What else do you have?
I've the Star here, the Irish Daily Star. Again, ref stops game as McClean is abused. RT time as Mikel Arteta gets his first win as Manchester United boss. You're chatting to Stephen Doyle this morning. Daniel Harris is coming up a little later after Manchester United's insipid performance last night. And also down here at the bottom, a big story. Team Talk Mag broke it last night, their Tyrone news site. Tyrone to lose Cathal McShane. So Cathal McShane, Tyrone full forward, is set to sign a deal apparently with the Brisbane Lions and the AFL. He's about to make the move over. McShane's...
He's not that young, McShane, is he? Like, is he...
He's younger than me, Johnny, so he's young enough. He's 23, I'd say he's 23 or 24.
So is he like older than usual to be making this sort of move? And
probably is,
yeah.
he probably is. But
massive blow to the red hand, though.
A massive blow, because in terms of the profile of footballer that he is, he's such a presence for Tyrone. And also, on top of that, right, so when he broke through as an under-21 footballer, he was either a big wing forward or a midfielder who could throw himself about and could play a bit of football. But the improvement that Cathal McShane has made in terms of his shooting accuracy and his ability as a target man as full forward has been like an absolute standout over the last 2 years. He's just improved tenfold. And obviously his footballing skills, as much as anything, are what the AFL are looking for here. The Brisbane Lions also have James Madden there, a young Dublin footballer who we've never really seen after under 21 level. But McShane is very young, minor in 2013, so what is he, 24, 23? Massive blow. But we're seeing a lot of footballers like from Division 1 counties even step away this year. In Cavan they've lost Killian Clark and Darren McVitie, two massive footballers. There's been a number of lads in Meath over the last couple of years who've stepped away. Donald Lennon is back this year, but like, you can't really stop lads like Cathal McShane, who puts in so much into their football career to go and play in the AFL.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable. It's amazing. I know down in Kerry they have a lot of trouble with young lads, losing young lads like Stephen O'Cumber and Mark O'Connor, and they've held on to David Clifford. But like, for the likes of Cathal McShane, who's 23, 24, he's probably the right age to go to Australia now. And take advantage of a career over there. We had Dan Flynn here a couple of weeks ago, and he was on about how he was too young at that age. Kieran Kilkenny didn't really enjoy it when he went. They were 18, 19, but he's 23, 24. Maybe this is the time to go. Also in the Star, Eamon Dunphy's column, United are a joke with Ole at the wheel. Matt Busby's basic principle was that no one player was bigger than the club. Who's he talking about?
Pogba,
yeah.
It was in the back of the Herald as well. Here we've Ferdinand wants clarity after Arsenal defeat, and that's about Pogba. And obviously, yeah, the Pogba situation. We'll talk to Daniel Harris about this, but talk of an injury now as well. And he's actually played very little. Came off the bench in a game recently. Did quite well, but
he came off the bench in 2 games. Got about 50 minutes, maybe 60 minutes. Then was rested for the next game. He appeared at his. I think his brothers and his family had hosted a charity match.
That's right.
And he appeared at that over in France, and was set to be in the mix for the Arsenal game. And when Ole was asked about it yesterday, there's a smirk, and says Paul's people have advised them to get work done on an ankle injury. So, like,
thinly veiled.
Solskjaer seems to try and play the game a little bit like that. You know, he doesn't come out and hammer his players. He seems to try and plumosed him a wee bit in the media, which is whatever way you go about it.
I reckon he'd understand what plumose meant if you said it to him in a press conference.
I'm not sure.
It's a great word.
If I get that chance, I'll say it to him. But
he's going to go, though, isn't he?
Solskjaer or Pogba?
Pogba. Well,
I feel like Pogba's going to go. I feel like he is, and he's frustrated me a lot as somebody who watched a lot of Manchester United.
I think he's a charlatan, to be honest. I don't think he's. I think you have a duty to perform for your club and your fans, and he decides if he wants to or not.
Yeah, and like
what a talent, but
unbelievable talent. And you were talking about Matic this morning, who's 31, and his legs are somehow just gone. Maybe his ambition is gone as well. It seems to happen to a lot of footballers that turn up at Manchester United at 31. That shouldn't be happening.
No.
Especially if you're a professional footballer. But like if Paul Pogba was in that midfield against Arsenal last night, you'd be just thinking something's going to happen. Because even when he came off the bench against Watford when they were 2-0 down, he made 5 chances. And he is an unbelievable talent. But at a club like Manchester United, when they're in the depths of where they are, especially like Arsenal, they're not the characters you need. They just aren't the characters you can build a team around or form a culture around.
Back of the Mirror this morning, New Year Revolution, Arteta's New Look Gunners and 15-match crisis with victory over Solskjaer. Shambolic United, and they've been shambolic a couple of times recently as well. And Mourinho, obviously, I was an idiot, and we have that McShane news as well on the back of the Mirror.
I've got the Telegraph here. Gunners on target. And at the bottom, Jofra Archer, injury fear, England fast bowler, could be ruled out of the crucial second test with sore elbow. That's against South Africa. At the back of the Telegraph, Irish journalist Kate Rowan has her column Final Whistle and saying that Owen Farrell deserves more love. His feats deserve it. If he was an Irish, Welsh or Scotsman, he would have received far more adulation. That's a good read there. It goes into how Rapinoe and the likes of Hamilton and characters like Ben Stokes are received, and how Owen Farrell is just kind of left to the side. I also want to just pick out a quote from inside the Telegraph, and it's Paul Hayward's column, and it's about the return of David Moyes.
Yes.
Unbelievable win yesterday for West Ham. 4-0.
Bounce factor.
Yeah. Mark Noble, is he the top scorer in English football in 2020 so far this season? 2 goals. 4-0. But Felipe Anderson also scored, a man who has been very inconsistent. He was for anyone who played Football Manager FIFA 3 or 4 years ago, he was this winger at Lazio that used to cut in, a bit like Robin, and scored these unbelievable goals. And he always had this loads of potential. But
quality talent.
Hayward saying that a move taken straight from Jose Mourinho asking Dele Alli, is he Dele or Dele's brother? David Moyes rocked in yesterday, and he was asked about West Ham's new leader, Felipe Anderson, who cost 36 million when he first joined the club and has been in and out of form. Moyes said, I've been asking him whether he's a Brazilian. I said, Brazilians score goals. Brazilians make the difference. They do something that makes us all excited. I said, Felipe, you're not doing any of that. All I've been saying to him is, give me a Brazilian goal, and to be fair, he did.
Yeah, I'm not sure that kind of tactic's going to work week to week, but
it seemed to work this week.
Yeah. Back of the Racing Post. No halting, relentless Reds and Blaze. Next team likely to fall to rampant leaders, and that's obviously tonight's game. A fascinating kind of subplot, I suppose, for Irish fans, because Sheffield United have had an absolutely outstanding season so far with their Irish players key to that. And at the front of the paper, boom back with a bang, and that's Album Photo, who won the Tramore race yesterday, which he won last year en route to winning the Gold Cup. And rather deflated looking Barry Geraghty there after Champ fell at the last and when about to win on his prep for Cheltenham.
I've got the Times here. Angry Mourinho idiot jibe. Spurs manager booked for abusing Southampton coach. The Southampton coach seemingly, as Spurs are about to make a substitution for the injured Harry Kane, who's now out for 6 weeks, massive blow. The Southampton goalkeeper coach jumped in and said, Danny Ings needs to come off first. We get to make our first substitution before you. So Mourinho said it was time wasting. And he also said that he thinks that the video assistant referee is the actual referee, and that the referee on the pitch is now the assistant, so that the VAR should be now called the VR, the video referee.
There's a lot of truth to that, in that the referee on the pitch now is kind of he's just passing on the orders.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. And then there's also match halted over IRA chant, which is the James McClean story as well. And I've also got The Guardian. I'll just end on that, Johnny.
Well, you should show the front. I mean, how bleak is the front? I know that we're... Because, you know, if you start the new year with any existential crisis, climate change, the hottest decade on record in Australia, and obviously there's a lot of talk about the Prime Minister's way of dealing with it, but it's a stark reminder of the reality outside of sport that we are kind of facing at the moment.
Australia
There's a kangaroo just...
as debate rages over PM's climate change stance. I don't know about you, but on Instagram this year I saw an awful lot of Irish people celebrating their Christmas on a beach this year in Australia. There's a lot of Irish over there, and the wildfires seem to be getting worse and worse.
Yeah, it's my friend is over there, and he was just saying the heat was absolutely unbearable, and he's a long way away from the fires. The back of the garden as well obviously deals with the game last night.
Purple Rain, right shocked Van Gerwen to become the darts world champion, and then off and running, Arteta gets his first win. And again, Mourinho, I was rude, but I was rude to an idiot.
Yeah, that's the back of the sun. I was rude, but I was rude to an idiot. And there's obviously a photo then of Harry Kane on the back, holding his injury, which will put him out for 6 weeks. The back of the Irish Daily Mail, Saka to them, unlikely hero seals Arteta's first goal. Actually, just on that, I don't know if you saw it. I thought Doyle was a little bit harsh on De Gea, because the ball just came at him and he kind of. Well, he for. The second goal, where he basically just kind of he put it into an area, but I mean it was a very badly defended corner. In that, was it Lacazette made the run to the near post, just glanced it on, but nobody followed him. I was kind of like Man United had filled the box with players, but nobody followed them. And then I wouldn't actually have blamed De Gea, but
But it's not hard to score set piece against United at the minute. And De Gea, but I think the thing with De Gea is, he pushed it straight back into the middle. Again, it's a reaction thing. You're probably right. Maybe he was harsh. It might be easy to.
Yeah, page 47 as well, Rory Keane, and this is Farrell must get 2020 off to a fast start, and there's plenty of rugby coverage to do with Ireland ahead of the provinces playing the weekend, and focusing on Farrell and obviously the scrum half situation as well. I want to mention this article in the Times, which Tommy put me onto early on. It's a really interesting article. Meet Andrew Giuliani, the man who was Trump's golf pro in residence, and Giuliani's dad obviously would have been the mayor of New York back in the day, Rudy. But there's a line here, nobody's quite sure how much Giuliani the younger earns from his job at the White House, where his duties often involve teeing it up with his boss. Some reports claim it's $90,000 per year. Others reckon it's $97,000. The confusion is perhaps inevitable because nobody's quite sure exactly what else he does with the money. And then it goes on to detail that this lad was actually a promising golfer. His kind of career slightly derailed. Then it comes to the end. The search for explanations as to why leads inevitably to the golf course. While Rick Riley wrote an excellent book detailing how Trump cheats nearly every time he picks up the golf club, his most regular playing partner, that's Giuliani, offers a contrary view. I can't tell you how many times I've been finishing lunch at Bedminster, said Giuliani Jr. And someone who just finished their first time playing with him comes up and says, I can't believe he's that good. I thought he was going to shoot 100, but he ended up shooting like 72.
I wonder, does it sound like that?
Probably not. Giuliani, I remember when he took over in New York, and he had this very clean campaign. He was just going to clean up the city. But his son was a very promising golfer, but has a strange role in the White House, where he's actually been catapulted ahead of some senior figures in the Trump administration now, because that's how it works.
It is.
It's a fascinating article.
We all know that the Kerry boys have been caddying for rich Americans for years down there and making their connections, so it's the way to do it. But also, that's Dave Hannigan's America at Large. It's always
Dave Hannigan, a really, really excellent article, and the Examiner has its sports pullout. Arteta's Happy New Year. We've Tommy Lyons on the back. Photo makes flawless return. Tommy was reporting from Tramore yesterday and has some good lines from from William Mullins and Paul Townend, and a beautiful photo I thought as well on page 16. This is Ballyheigue Strand horse and pony races yesterday, and just a silhouette of a couple of people watching as the horses and jockeys go by down at the beach. I was actually in Sandymount yesterday, and the place was teeming with people. Everyone wants to be out by the water. Dipped my toe in, it was a bit cold. That was it, yeah.